Hello everybody, this is Cyrus here, back with another Matchbox moving parts review. It's been a while since I've done a video on Matchbox moving parts, but that's all going to change in this video as I have a whole bunch of them that I've gathered at my local Walmart over the years, and I have not gotten around to doing any videos, so we're going to do one massive video with 2025 coming to an end, and let's get right into it. Now, before we take a look at any of the new decos and new tools for 2025, I do have one Matchbox moving part that's not a 2025 release, and it is this Toyota Land Cruiser FJ40, which was new for 2023. This is probably being stored in the back warehouses of the Walmart as it showed up on the pegs earlier this year, probably as a leftover product that didn't get sold yet. So I went ahead and bought this. Also, the card is a little bit bent, so I'm just going to open this up anyway, and we'll get a better look at it. So we did get a Land Cruiser similar to this in the basics, but they had to modify that tool to where they took some metal off of the fender areas and running board. And because of this, that obviously took out a little bit of weight. So with this version, it's obviously going to be a lot heavier. And with that extra price point, they can include opening doors. Now, because of the door design, they're a little bit more harder to open. So you actually have to put like a little toothpick or screwdriver or something through the door window to open the doors. However, the cab detailing inside is pretty decent. There are some Matchbox cars that do have better cab detail, though. With this one having the steering wheel on the right side, I'm guessing that this must be the Japanese version, seeing as in Japan they drive on the right side of the road. You've got two individual separate opening doors. At the back, obviously these don't open here, but on the real-life version they would. And quickly before I close up the door on the passenger side, here's a better look at that. The doors are a little bit more stiffer on this one to open is what I've, and close is what I've noticed. Obviously you need a plastic piece to open them, but closing them, there's like some metal piece that's holding them open or something. There's your Tampo print on the front as well while we're at it. Unfortunately, no Tampo print for the license plate. But there is some for the tail lights, and the white roof is also a nice inclusion. Next up, moving on to a new tool that was released last year, and I accidentally hit the camera there, so I apologize for that. We've got this Mini Cooper. It is a Mini Cooper SE. We get a lot of Mini Coopers in the Matchbox range, especially modern ones. But this one's a little bit more exceptional due to the fact that with the hood design on a Mini Cooper, it goes over the headlights up front, and then you have the separate cutouts for the headlights because of this. The engine detail is all one molded piece of plastic, but they did give some nice Tampo work on there, including that orange wire that runs along the side of the engine, as well as what looks like a filler cap. I don't know if that's for motor oil or if that's where you'd put the windshield washer fluid in or something. But still interesting detail nonetheless. There is an interior on this, but it's a bit more harder to see because of the darker color of the plastic. And then you do have rear tampos as well as the front tampos. Next up, we've got the Bizzarini G Corsa Rival. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. This was a new tool last year for 2024, and they did it in a nice metallic red color. And while this blue is nice, metallic blue would have looked nicer, so I think I'm going to keep the metallic red one in the package as of right now, unless I find another one. In terms of the engine detail being used on this one, some of the Tampo work to some collectors might not look the best, but it looks a bit more convincing in my opinion, as at my school auto shop, they have engines that you can take apart and then put back together to get a better look and experience of how they're made when it comes to car mechanics. And the engines that they have on display there have very similar color and rust that looks just like what's shown in the engine of this Bizzarini, so kind of interesting to note there. There is also a separate white dot. Interesting to note, no number, so I'm a little bit puzzled by that. Otherwise, this casting itself is not too bad. And the hood design is actually kind of interesting. Unfortunately, it doesn't stay open, so you'd have to have it tilt to put like something in there to hold it open. But it's very similar to the hood you would find on like a Shelby Cobra. And I can actually kind of prove this example, as Hot Wheels did give us a Shelby Cobra with an opening hood back around, I think it was around the 80s if I'm not mistaken, but it was very similar to the opening hood design on this Bizzarini. Next up, we've got the Land Rover Defender 130. I'm going to open this off camera so I don't have to waste too much time opening this up in the video. Now, one thing that a lot of people pointed out with this casting is that there is no engine tampos underneath the hood. I will say the molded in engine detail is pretty decent for what you're getting, however. But the reason why there's no tampos is because the roof rack with this drone and other equipment is actually removable. We've gotten Land Rovers in the past that have had removable roof racks, as well as other cars with this feature. Whether this is compatible with any of the Land Rovers in the basics is another story, as these pieces would use similar molds to save on money. There is a ladder also on the side, as well as a spare tire in the back. And I'm guessing that's a storage compartment on that side. Now, the nice thing with this is, although the deco is generic, it looks very realistic, like what you would see with a British rescue company, like a mountain rescue organization that they would have in like Wales or something. So it's nice to see that Matchbox does put effort into some of their generic decos, as shown here. And on the subject of Land Rover, while we're at it, we've got the 1984 Rover SD1 Vista. I don't know how you'd pronounce that, to be honest. I'm guessing that this is a probably, well, maybe not a spin-off company, but this is a part of that company that Land Rover originated from. For those who aren't too familiar, Land Rover was actually part of another car company called Rover. And Rover would focus more on luxury cars before Land Rover they would make the Land Rover company after World War II to produce a bit more of a agricultural utility vehicle that had more versatility. So I'm guessing that this is part of that Rover company that Land Rover was a spin-off of, but I don't know for sure. The design of this car is definitely very unique. I don't think these were sold in the North American market as opposed to other British car companies. But still, something about this does kind of look a little bit familiar in my opinion. The hood on this one, you do have to kind of tap it to get it open, as it doesn't open from the hinges closer towards the back of the engine bay, but it's more set up towards the front right here. There we go. The engine detail, just like the Bizzarini and Mini Cooper, is pretty good for what you're getting. This is part of the metal casting for the bodywork. And I must say, they put a lot of effort into the paint detail for that engine. Covers, wires, batteries, whatnot. The Tampa work being used on the front and rear also looks good, as well as the black pinstripe, or I don't know if pinstripe is the right word, that wraps around the entire car itself. Next up, we've got the Volkswagen ID Buzz. We've gotten few vans in the moving parts line that have had sliding doors, and this one is another example. The interesting thing with this one, though, as opposed to the other two vans we got, is that those ones were a solid door with no window. Well, this one does have a separate window piece attached to the door. It's a little dusty, so I'm going to quickly wipe that off. There we go. And what's notable is, unfortunately, this might not look the best in the window area where you can see that yellow kind of bleeding through the black. But at the same time, this is a toy rather than one of the higher quality premium items. So I'm kind of willing to let that slide. One thing that is nice about the trunk area is that there are some suitcases stacked back there. And then if we open the door, there's actually a little cutout gash that makes it easier to get a fingernail in there to pull the door open. And then in the two passenger seats at the rear, you can see that there is a backpack and a camera. And then when you want to close it up, the door just slides closed. And you're good to drive off. Then we've got the Ford Country Sedan 1957. This debuted in red back in 2023, and now we've got it in light blue with white for 2025. The deco being used on the front and rear tampos is pretty decent. However, unfortunately, they did use inkjet printing for the side paint job when it came to the blue accents, and then this kind of golden yellow trim being used on the side as well. As for the hood engine detail, if I can try and get this open, that's about as far as it's going to open though. You can kind of see that they only colored in that middle part of the engine. It doesn't look too bad, but it would have been nicer to also see some of the other parts of the engine detailed. Still, I like older style cars like this, so even if this was not a moving part in the basics, I could easily let that slide. And finally, this is the one that I'm most excited for. Let me see if I can grab this one. I put it down, so let me quickly pause the video. And finally, for this last one, and you saw this teased at the beginning of the video, it is the Ford Thunderbird from 1963. I'm kind of yin-yang when it comes to convertibles, but I must say that I do like the design and silhouette of this one, especially that turquoise blue color that's being used. Just like the Rover, Bizzarini, and the Mini Cooper, they knocked it out of the park as far as engine detail goes. And you can even see the molded-in air filter at the back of the engine. And then what looks like, I think that's that red thing there is a Ford-branded battery, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, though. Also, you can see what looks like another blue thing. Maybe that's your fuel filter or oil filter or something. They also gave it a chrome base, which is a nice touch. And the silver accents being used on the side of the car also look good, as well as that cream-colored interior. So that does the final moving parts review on my channel for 2025. We're now at 14 minutes into the video. I'll end it here. Quickly display all these cars in a nice little row around my setup, if I can. And voila. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in some more videos again very soon. Have a good, safe rest of your day, guys. Bye.